TG Geeks, episode 157, February 19th, 2018. Amazons, Wakandan women, and Panthers. Oh my. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
I see what you were trying to do there. And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from... And my other name is the Dark Kitty.
Yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. We have a really fascinating interview for you today, and we're just going to launch right into that. And this time on the show, we have a treat for you. We have Amazon Eve, who plays a character in the movie Chimera. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
Hi. So tell us about your character in Chimera and who that is and what you do in Chimera.
How did you get attached to that movie?
Because that's how we came in contact with you.
Right.
So you do a lot of other things, but we're going to talk about Chimera.
Let's start with Chimera since that's kind of
like
like a hot movie right now.
Well, guys, I got the audition notice from my manager just as we were wrapping up American Horror Story. And I looked at the script, and it had a bunch of scientific stuff in it that I didn't recognize. But when you see sci-fi movies, they always kind of rattle off this stuff. So I started Googling things, and I realized that this is like real science.
Right.
I got really excited about that because science fiction tends to make up a lot of jargon.
Right. Technobabble.
And I looked at my characters. Okay, I get to play a thuggy, kind of thuggy person, big person. And my mind starts spinning around about what I want to do with this person. How do I want to frame her? How do I want to make her? And it's more than a henchman.
Right.
It's kind of like Darth Vader is to Palpatine.
Right. Well, that's a good comparison. I can accept that. I can accept that.
Yeah, and speaking of, you talked about that, and we'll talk about this in just a minute. But your costumes, it's even more of a spin-off, shall we say, of that. So tell us who is the character in Chimera? You are.
I'm Dita Gruz. I play Dita Gruz. Corporate assassin. Probably the best way of describing. I'm the heavy.
Right.
An enforcer for the lead antagonist, who's played by Kathleen Quinlan.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to do all kinds of force control.
Well, you say it's a rather physical role.
Yes.
It's apropos for a woman my height.
Yes. So speaking of that, for those that don't know about Amazon Eve, tell us a little bit about yourself so that our listeners can understand who this character is and how much larger than life you are.
Yeah, because they hear the name Amazon Eve, and they're definitely going to want to put that into some sort of context.
Well, for a time, I used to be a wrestler. I come from corporate America, worked in the brokerage field for a while, employee benefits, insurance, health insurance market, where I worked to help obtain insurance and healthcare benefits for transgender employees, retirees, and dependents, and a platform of employee benefits market or single individual insurance market. And my undergraduate works in theater. So and I did a lot of fitness, and I was a trainer, and I worked out, and I looked up this way of making a little extra money, like wrestling. And so I thought, okay, what can I do with this? I started wrestling, so I created a name, Amazon Eve.
So,
Because
and you're Amazon Eve because you are
How tall?
oh, would you like it in feet, centimeters, or horse hands?
Well, horse hands, I mean, can be okay.
Well, you're out there in Phoenix. I thought them Phoenix people are country. They get it.
Yeah.
They're getting it up there. No, I 18 and a half horse hands, about 203 centimeters, 6'8". I'm as tall as a normal door opening.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so you have to duck when you
Post
go
1950. I think door jams started
Yeah.
getting centralized to about 80 inches.
Yeah.
post
I'm
that,
very
so-
familiar with that. I grew up in the building industry, so
Yeah,
6'8".
homes built
Yeah.
in the 30s, homes built in the 20s and 30s, or excuse me, homes built prior to the 20s and 30s, or actually 1800s.
Oh yeah, they were
You
like
still
5
see
feet.
few homes where their doorways are shorter.
Oh, I have to duck,
yeah,
and I'm only 5'6".
yeah.
I walked through a little cabin house, and it was built in Chicago, in the outskirts of Chicago. It only had 6'4", 6'5" door jams. I bumped my head all the time.
Right.
And very short ceiling.
Yeah, and I'm
Um,
only 6'3", and I bump my head getting in an airplane all the time.
hmm Yeah, you know how I feel. So I was this wrestler, and then eventually I went down to, I toured. You travel, and I wrestled men for a living. You know, kind of like Fight Club
Yeah.
underground. There's only about 400 of us who actually do it.
Oh my.
And you wrestle in mud, and you wrestle in oil, you wrestle in whatever gunk or costume they put you in. And eventually, because I have a modicum of good looks and I have a decent body, someone put me on the cover of Zoo Weekly, and what the hell is that? Animal something. It's a bikini mag. It's kind of like Maxim Down Under. And they have a version of it in the UK.
Okay.
So I got on the cover of a bikini magazine. Well, I guess I'm no longer ugly. I went viral. I did a little video. You guys can watch it online. There's a little Zoo Weekly bikini shoot that I did, years ago. And I started doing modeling work after that. So from that, I did commercial, and I started doing a couple TV series. I got to American Horror Story, and a couple movies, and Chimera.
Wow.
And the nice part about Amazon Eve being a household name is Ryan Murphy purchased me, or bought me, or hired me, and used my name. And it gave me a greater platform from which to advocate from. It's one of the high points in my life, getting to be on American Horror Story, working with such great and talented people. And then all of a sudden, this audition shows up. It's like, wow, another one. I guess this is what happens. One project begets another.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's a few other projects that we've worked on. One is Dead Squad. It's another movie we shot in Bali in Indonesia. And Falling South, which we shot 2 Halloween ago in Florida. Excited is an understatement.
Of course.
I'm very excited about this movie because it's catching a lot of buzz. I
Oh
get to
yeah.
work with I get to work with Henry Ian Cusick, Kathleen Quinlan, and well, of course Maurice. You remember Maurice?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Maurice
yeah,
is
yeah.
amazing.
He's
Yeah.
But
so-
to work with such
Yeah.
acting powerhouses, such like Henry and Kathleen, I mean, that must have been a real treat for you.
It was. Mostly I got the people I worked with Kathleen and Ian. They were always, that was my main group. But
right.
there's Jenna, she's there, and Karishma, God, she's extremely beautiful.
Oh, she is. She's gorgeous.
My God, exhausting to look at. Boy, someone hit that one with a pretty stick.
Yeah.
I know. And then Jennifer and Maurice's kids. Maurice's
Oh,
kids
yeah.
are in it. So
Yeah,
I'm
wonderful.
just jazzed that there's so much organic attention
Mm-hmm.
placed in details and humanity going on. And watching Kathleen Quinlan, working with her, I gave her the role of mom
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in this, and
Well, her
as
role-
a position of hierarchy, she's above me, and my character is very devoted to her and fulfilling her agenda in life,
Right.
Absolutely.
which I in turn get fulfilled.
Right. And you talked about that Palpatine Darth Vader thing.
Relationship.
And her character is very much like Palpatine.
Oh, absolutely. She's
her whole outlook on things. It's my agenda, and I'm gonna do it. And then,
she's out to control everybody.
Yeah, and then there's you playing the
muscle, shall we say?
Exactly.
For lack of a better
term. It was
term.
wonderful. I thought you did a great job of showing that.
Yeah. And something that I wrote in my review is that every time your character is on screen, it's like you can't take your eyes off of her. And it's not just because of the height, but it's because of the way you were able to communicate the personality of this character. I mean, there's something so terribly physically menacing, not just the height, but the way you moved, the way you looked, all of that. There was just something so terribly intimidating about your character.
Yeah.
I'm sure there should be I would think when a few of the scenes, which will of course be pulled out and memeified, they will become feminist favorites.
Am I?
Yeah. Feminist favorites. Anyway, but yeah,
I gotta sneak that jab in there, you know that.
Yeah, of course.
Well, the only reason I brought that Palpatine and Darth Vader, because you talked about it earlier, and I don't remember whether it was when we were recording the interview, but you also your costume. So tell us about this photo shoot in Boston and this costume that you're wearing.
Well, I'm gonna do a plug. I've got permission to do this, but I'm gonna do a plug for Pinup Girls Clothing. They were the one that fashioned the general style of the look, and I put together the corporate assassin look out of my own wardrobe and put it together and got this hat at Gorin Brothers in New Orleans. It's an asymmetrical fedora. You can see it. It's in the trailer.
Right.
And I thought, this is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It has to be. It's almost like it's like a female version of Snidely Whiplash.
Okay, that's a description that won't leave me.
Underneath it, which I am saving for, I have to do a superhero movie at some point in my life. But underneath the black coat is a black catsuit.
Of course.
So there is future possibilities of that being shown. There is a physical intimidation factor from a 6'8" woman wearing 4-inch heels. So I'm 7 foot in this outfit.
Yeah.
And already there's a power imbalance. And I bring in the tension. My job is to ratchet up the tension times 100, which we do very well.
Oh, absolutely.
I have seen a version of the edited movie. I know there've been some tweaks in it, and I know it's now perfect. The pacing, what you guys saw was the new edit, and it paces faster.
Right.
Apparently. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to go to the premiere. So I know the story. I know not, because actors have a hard time watching themselves. So I don't need to worry about past that. It's the, oh my God, what am I going to wear?
Right.
And I just grabbed these outfits, and I wanted to sell this to Maurice. Okay. I had to sell this look to Maurice because he had a set idea, and I had a chance, a day off or two. So I went to Boston. I did this photo shoot in this all black outfit, and it's in the middle of May. It's hot. And this outfit just says dripping sweat is all it does. It's wrong for the type of year, but of course, this is what you do when you model. You wear coats and winter clothing, and you shoot in the summertime, and you wear your bikinis when you're shooting for.
It's like, can't these photographers get this together?
It's terrible to be a model, and there's no union. You have to freeze your butt off for bikini shoots, and you got to sweat your butt off, for winter clothing. It's terrible. Love the union. So while I'm in Boston, and I'm running around, Josh Ardrus is the Ardrus, Ardrus, does the photo shoot, and we're walking, and it's how can I say it? The outfit just, it's perfect. Old downtown Boston, it's perfect. All eyes on you. You walk through a grocery store, there's this hit woman. And I just could not help tracking eyes and having a good time, right? And it has kind of a superhero flair. And
Right.
I've got to ask, I don't know if you guys have pictures on this, but you guys have some images. You have some basic idea of what it looks like.
Right, yeah,
Right,
we've seen
right.
it in the film.
So I was walking up the street. The wind was blowing the perfect direction, okay? And the sun was the opposite direction behind me. And there was this police officer, Boston traffic cop, giving somebody a ticket, right? And they were both outside the car. It was hot. They were both in shorts. The cop he was a bicycle cop. And, apparently someone parked wrong.
Oh, dear.
So I'm walking right there, all eyes on me. I stand there and I turn around. The cape, it's almost a coat cape. The coat opens up in a flurry. The sun is behind me. The officer, I cast a shadow on the officer, and they're both staring at me. Guy's gape open. I couldn't help. Officer, do you need any help? Standing there akimbo. It's like, oh, you can't. It doesn't get better than this.
That's wonderful.
That's
That
awesome.
is great.
You live for moments like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us what it was like working with Maurice on this film and working with the other
Especially,
folks.
yeah, because this
was Maurice's
this
first.
is Maurice's first film. So not only first time as a writer, but first time as a director. What was it like working for him as a as a first time director?
Well, first time writer director, you couldn't tell because he surrounded himself. Maurice is a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I can tell
Love
that.
him. I love him.
His answers. We saw a written interview that somebody had transcribed, or he had given answers to questions, and his answers are so thoughtful,
Very thought out.
and everything, even on the fly when we interviewed him, his answers are very well thought out. I mean, you can tell that he's a very
terribly intelligent
Oh
man.
my gosh, yeah.
Well, he started several businesses, sold them off. I mean, he's no slouch.
Yeah.
So working with him, I mean, what were some of the impressions that you got from him?
Well, the impressions I got from Maurice
Yeah.
How was it working with him?
was great.
Well,
He's a businessman that knows how to surround himself. He's a first timer.
right,
So as a first timer, he's more handsy-onzy.
right,
Okay. And when he had the whole of us, Kathleen, Ian, and I, you walk back and forth and you see the energy. He's just this little fireball.
right,
Right? When you realize what's going on, he's in charge of everything. And my job is just to focus on my one little part.
right,
He has to think about everything. So I got to know him over time.
right.
He's too busy running around managing this entire, and he knew how to surround himself with just the right people.
Right.
Okay. The team that we have. David Cruda, cinematographer, brilliant. Ken Golden, the line producer. We were well positioned to have a good, well-oiled crew.
Right.
So I saw only professionalism.
Oh, cool.
And I got to know him afterwards even more, and we became friends. And we talked about the show and editing. He knew I did this photo shoot, so we're sending those photos over to him. I'm just excited about it. It's just, we have coffee and we talk about what he's given me so much great advice, and he's been mentoring me a little bit here and there. And I'm very blessed and grateful to have him.
Well,
as part of my social network.
He spoke very highly of you.
Yes, absolutely. Really. And it was, I'm looking forward to getting to know Maurice a little bit better because, you know, if we go out to LA or he comes for the Phoenix Film Festival, it would be great to meet him and get to know who he really is other than, I mean, we got to know him over the phone,
right?
But he sounds like he's just a wonderful person. And so when you were filming this, was he open to suggestions and ideas and changing his, obviously you had to sell the look to him. So he obviously was open to that then.
Well, he was, because I sent the pictures, I sent the outtake pictures to him right away, the ones that we could take with our cell phone. I said, this is what I want to wear for the opening scene that you first see us.
Right.
And we show up, and he approved it. I said, yeah.
Okay.
So I had my little victory bump. Booah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And everything comes together. It's that moment where opportunity meets lots and lots and lots and lots of preparation.
Right.
Right.
Okay, because the outfit, we did a photo shoot in Japan before the show even ended. So I'm excited about it. And Maurice is extremely handsome.
Yeah.
Very good looking man.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
very good looking. He's beloved.
Well, I've only seen just some faraway
And he's
shots
taken,
from him.
he's married.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, he's got a kid in the film. So, for people who want to kind of put you better into context, now you said you were on American Horror Story. So,
and you're doing a traveling show now as well, and so
I'm working on the finishing touches of a solo show, which are probably spring.
right.
So can you?
Our premieres due spring, so by the time I fully tour, it'll be after the show's premiere and full release. So around that time, I'll be traveling the country and going from venue to venue and putting on my solo show.
Did you want to share what that's about, or do we do another show about
Just
that?
about that.
Wow. I always love marketing plugs.
Yeah, well, you can give us a good marketing
you
plug.
give us a good marketing plug
if you
right
want to
now.
give us a high-level log line, shall we say, of what this show is, so then it brings people back for the next interview.
Right.
Or next chat about your touring show.
Do you know what a mukjang is?
I'm afraid I don't.
Okay. Well, my show is about there's two things you need to study in life, law and kung fu.
I see.
Okay.
And I do something with a mukjang which will put any stripper to shame.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm afraid that I don't see any. And I'm afraid that
and a corporate assassin, a space alien, a freak, a monster. I think it's time for me to do something sexy. I think it's time for the sexy to start showing up in my life.
Well, if you can pull it
Don't
off,
you
then by all.
agree?
Well, I figure if anybody if anybody in their life has any opportunity where they can do sexy, do it.
Absolutely.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Yep. So and this is.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, sort of.
Sorta.
Yes.
I mean, that was a nice.
Absolutely fine.
That was a nice high-level description.
Yeah. So, and you're doing this and it's going to be billed as Amazon Eve does Dallas or
Oh
what?
my God.
Well,
That sounds so corny.
Oh, well, maybe not that, but
Okay, if you watch Lily Tomlin's solo show, she always brings this big, gigantic chair with her.
Right.
Well, I'm going to bring this big, gigantic mukjang with me.
Okay.
Okay, so that
And if you Google mukjang, M-O-O-K, jong, J-O-N-G, and look at mukjang practice, you will see what it's used for. It's a fighting dummy. It's something you practice Wing Chun on. So,
I think
see.
I might
when,
have seen
when
that
I
before.
do it, I just make it big and sexy.
Oh dear. If it is what I think it is, I can only imagine all sorts of terrible directions this can go.
Terrible? It's not terrible.
Well, not terrible. I mean, just
It's titillating.
well, that too, yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, I think we see Robert Downey Jr. work with one of those in one of his Iron Man movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Mine's big. My mukjang is bigger than your mukjang.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
what I thought it was.
Yeah, okay.
I can see how this can be really scintillating.
You'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
All right. So that's the touring show. So tell us who is Amazon Eve and what is your persona and what are some of the things that people should look for and know about Amazon Eve? So I'm opening the floodgates here, if you will.
Oh, okay. Well, Amazon Eve is two things. She's a device, like a character, a persona, and she's a superhero.
Okay.
She's basically She-Hulk without the green.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Absolutely.
Since Marvel, since I just got done doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Did you?
managed to wrestle the rights away from Warner Brothers, I have to be that fill-in gap. So,
There you go.
She is my way of taking all of my superpowers and putting it into a person which is allowed to exercise those superpowers. Whereas in my world where I'm supposed to be, agreeable, passive, let the man take over, suggest, not recommend.
Why would you do that?
She's the dominant one. She walks in the room and changes. Okay, sexuality. Erica's sexuality is submissive. Amazon Eve's sexuality is dominant.
Aha. Well,
okay.
Erica's personality, agreeable. Amazon Eve's personality, disagreeable.
I see.
Okay, she's the kind of person you don't want to get into a debate with because she's also a lawyer.
Yeah. And she'll call bovine compost, right?
A good portion of my fair, I would say clients, butts and seats, people to see my show are going to be, about 17 million men, Oompa Loompas, fancy orange skin and green knickers, money in hand, ready to throw on the stage, tipping me for this thing I'm about to do with the Moochong.
I see.
I'm just not ready to give you all the shekels.
That's all right.
I gotta keep some of my cards secret. So the
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Story, there's two things you need to study in life: law and kung fu.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you obviously this is something that's in development, so you don't want to spoil things. You obviously want people to come out,
okay,
see what you're doing.
So I see. So that is the Amazon Eve persona. So
yes,
tell us who is Erica,
the person.
Ooh.
Tell us about you. Tell us your life story in 30 seconds.
I have 30 seconds to tell you my life story.
I'm just teasing. No, just tell us
I
who
grew up
you
in a
are and
small
where
town
you
in
came
Central
from.
California. I moved to the big city to make better of myself. I studied law at UCLA. I studied theater as my undergraduate work. I was probably working in the downtown law office scene setting, and I would not be an actor today had I not been discriminated against. I do a lot of legislative advocacy for the transgender community. Most people don't see it because I write for amicus briefs, and I do political advocacy for attorneys that are assisting in this community, housing, employment, healthcare primarily. Healthcare is my primary one. That's the one that I focus on is my advocacy, and I look at what opposes us. I have to look at our history, where we fit. If you go back in time, transgender people have existed under different names throughout the world.
Right.
The Wari from Bali, the Fafafina from Fiji, the Mahu from Hawaii, the Two Spirits from American Indian,
Right.
the Sworn Brave. They got different names everywhere.
Right.
Okay, throughout the world. So we've existed sans medical science. We are an effect that can't be weeded out through selection. We're part of society. We're designed to be here. Just like being gay or lesbian or different or disabled, people like that.
Right, and transgender covers a wide variety of...
Oh, God, yeah. That's a very broad area that it covers, yes.
Yeah.
Well, my problem with the definition of transgender is so broadly constructed that it's almost meaningless now.
I see. Yeah, and it can be.
I am. It used to be fairly narrowly defined.
Right.
Now it's so broadly defined that it omits me as something I identify with in terms of trans. I don't identify as trans. I just identify as a woman. I just use female pronouns and I'm happy.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
I say I'm a woman of trans history because it allows me to speak on the matter credibly, but, and I make this very clear, that there are doctors and medical professions that speak on our behalf as well.
Right.
And they don't need to be transgender.
Right.
Okay? So you
Correct.
don't have to be a member of a group to comment on it.
Right. And I think it's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you brought that up, that transgender has become so broad that it's kind of almost lost its meaning. So that's why we have, and I saw this meme and I didn't really look at it on Facebook the other day. It was LGBTQI blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
bunch of letters.
So we're really kind of trying to include everybody and kind of hit those things, but some of the gay, lesbian, bi, trans have become so, I guess the word is ubiquitous and don't necessarily mean what they've always meant, shall we say? Is that a better way of saying that? I guess I just went off into La La Land. Sorry.
It's okay.
I have a hard time with some of the we're pinpointing, but yet we're making things so overly broad. And
Right.
I appreciate the fact that you said something about that and that how you identify in that community. Again,
I don't represent the community.
Right.
Nobody represents the community.
Right.
I mean,
We have a couple advocacy groups that attempt to transgender equality in Washington D.C. is our primary lobbying organization. It works in partnership with the HRC, GLAD 1A, Transgender Law Center. They represent us.
Right.
I don't represent.
well, what I'm saying,
I don't claim to be a hero in this community.
No,
I'm
no.
not the leader.
No.
Don't follow me.
No. I
Follow me on
wasn't.
Twitter, though. Make sure
I
you
wasn't
follow me
trying
on
to.
Twitter and Facebook.
I wasn't trying to say that, but I was trying to say the community as a whole of all of us together in, you know, where do you live in that, where you were trying to say, where do you fit into that
Or where do you maybe
community
identify?
of shall we say,
Well, the
quote unquote
ever-increasing-
outcasts? Yeah.
The ever-increasing fractionalization.
Exactly.
Right.
LGBTQ. I'll try to give you as far as I can go.
Okay.
This is as far as LGBTQISQ. No, there's Q. I already say Q.
Yeah.
IS is intersex. 2S, which means two-spirit. And there are 30 gender pronouns after that.
Oh my
That
gosh.
Jersey, they, them. It goes on and
Right.
on. It's an ever-increasing fractionalization of victimization. Okay, it just keeps going on and on. And on.
Absolutely. And that's kind of where I was going with that. Is
It's going to change, guys.
Yeah.
2 months, it's going to change. So
Oh, yeah.
don't memorize it.
I know.
I couldn't
assure
even if
you.
I couldn't
mean,
memorize
I
it
have-
if I tried to.
I had a hard time adding the Q, and
Trust me, it's not going to be the same in a couple months.
No.
I don't follow it. I let someone else handle it.
Yeah. So I appreciate you addressing that because that.
And I don't want to end up becoming I don't want to be becoming a Caitlyn Jenner. I'm the hero. Follow me. Yes, I'm your white knight. I'm going to take care of everything. Notice me. See, I went in here. I went to, what do they call the SEC? I got the big hero. Follow me. I'll take you to victory. Because I'm so courageous.
Yeah.
Yeah. You come out now when it's safe to do so. Come out in the 1980s. then I'll call you courageous.
Right. Come out in the 70s.
Yeah, no
Come
kidding.
out in the be outed in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Trust me.
April Ashley was outed in the 70s. It ruined her career. Carolyn Cosley was outed in the early 80s. Ruined her career.
Yeah.
You can come out now because it's safe to do so.
Absolutely.
But don't come out and tell people you're the hero.
No. Yeah,
There's a fine line
I was
between
outed in
heroism
high
and
school,
hubris.
so I
Yes.
understand what it's like to have that stigma, if you will. And now it's becoming more comfortable to be. We are the two gay geeks, after all, So I appreciate you addressing those things, and so tell us more about that.
Well, you guys said geeks. I'm going to test your geek credentials.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Oh, dear.
Do you know who Gary Gygax is?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Never mind. You passed.
I had. Okay, so I'll go back.
Well, okay, let's explain to our audience who Gary Gygax is. Okay,
he wrote the Dungeons and Dragons,
first box set of Dungeons and Dragons,
yes,
a role-playing game that changed
the world.
It started a movement of role-playing games,
mm-hmm.
magic, cards. It changed gaming forever.
Right.
And there, I cut my teeth on that game when I was 12 years old. I will never forget that, man. Yes, I am a proud first edition, first generation advanced Dungeons and Dragons player. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll one up you on that.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Go for it.
I was told when I was thinking about in high school, we had a couple of friends and they introduced me to a lot of different things. I was told that the first thing I had to do was get the book Chainmail, and then I could get the Dungeons and Dragons book, the first one.
Yeah.
So
that's geek cred.
Yeah, and for
okay,
the life
you got more cred than I do. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more cred.
Yeah, for the life of me, I lost those in a move.
Oh,
I
tragedy!
Lost all of my book. I had the Chainmail. I had the original editions of the first 3 Dungeons and Dragons. I had all of the succeeding books, first edition, and it's like, how many hundreds of dollars are those worth now?
Oh, more than that.
Anyway,
that's a tough one to quantify because I know I gave up all my books in college.
I know.
A big old box, every first edition hardbound. I think I had 40 modules.
Oh my!
Wow.
I was a dungeon master. I graduated from being a player to a dungeon master by the time I was in college.
Yeah.
And, I got hyper religious at the time. Big mistake.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and they were the books of the devil, so I had to get rid of them.
Oh, trust me.
Stupid.
Yeah,
I know.
Been down that road too.
I've been there too.
Yeah,
I burned a book.
You did not.
You did not burn a book.
Well, yes.
My God!
It was I can't remember what it was now, but it was a classic text on some. I don't even remember now, but I burned that book.
I am dismayed.
And it was in my hyper religious days.
Okay.
So I think you can identify with that. But anyway, so yeah, that's our geek cred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you out as gay then?
That's about the time that I got outed. Yes.
Okay. I did it. I was going through what is called a repression phase in my life. I was trying to suppress who I was.
Well, that was me.
Yeah, I was there, but people, because I fooled around, and people got wind of it and couldn't keep their mouth shut.
I was going through my repression phase, and I was using very orthodox religion to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, let's not talk about that.
No, I don't want to revisit that nightmare.
But you have full geek credibility that you know who Gary Gygax is.
Absolutely.
So we truly are
we really
the
are
two
the
gay
gay
geeks.
geeks. Yeah.
And funny story. We were talking.
You know who Gary Gygax
Yeah.
is?
The way we met was through a long mystery. We'll tell you the story at another time. We've told it enough times
it's so
on the
it's
show.
so geeky.
Anyway,
how we met.
when he said, I didn't realize that he knew virtually every obscure sci-fi movie, television show that ever existed. And, when I ask a question about something, and then, yes, of course!
Of course I know it. Yeah. He's like, okay, we're meant for each other.
Yeah. That's kind of where we are.
Yeah. So I tell you, Erica, we already said that's your name. I will say that this has been fun.
Absolutely.
This has been a fun conversation.
And we will certainly want to talk to you again.
Yes, especially when you're getting ready to do your...
After Chimera and when your show gets ready to
when you're ready
hit the road.
When you're really ready to take Amazon Eve on the road, we want to talk to you again because we want to talk about that show and we want to give that major props.
I have to do it in Phoenix. I have to do it in Phoenix.
Absolutely.
Have to do it in Phoenix. I have friends out in Phoenix that
have
to see this show. So the part of it is getting to that place where there's a venue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm assuming if like Lily Tomlin was coming into town, where could she perform there in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Where would you direct me?
Oh, yeah. There are a number of smaller venues that would definitely suit such a show.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we could do some research for you and find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some different places.
So in the meantime, however, if anybody wants to know more about you, more about what you're doing, more about what you have done, because I'm sure that a lot of our listeners are going to really want to investigate you at this point. Do you have any presence, like any website or any presence on social media? You had made reference to Twitter. How can they learn more about all things Amazon Eve?
And on the intertubes and
all those places.
I have a website called AmazonEve.com. I will be having my personal website up.
Okay.
I've had EricaIrvin.com forever, but I have not secured it. I haven't built it. I've kept Amazon Eve as my main thing, and you can catch me on Twitter at Amazon Eve, or my website is www.amazoneve.com. And I will have my tour there, as well as when this gets on the ground, there'll be a whole advertising campaign. So there'll be plenty of chances for people to see it. And I'll make sure it gets out on social network. And I'll especially talk to you guys, especially before I come out to Phoenix, because I can't wait to do that.
Oh, fantastic.
So, and you have a Facebook presence as well, right?
You can find me on Facebook at Amazon Eve.
Right.
I have a lot of fans, but primarily is Twitter at Amazon Eve, and my website AmazonEve.com.
Excellent.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for being on the show this time.
There's a couple other Erica Irvins, but there's only one Amazon Eve.
Oh, of course, there's just one Amazon Eve.
There's only one.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
Hi, this is Maurice Himes, the writer and director of Chimera, and you are listening to The Two Gay Geeks.
And here's a few selected birthdays for February 19th through February 25th, 2018. February 19th, David Massouz.
Oh, it's David?
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that.
Yes. The Bruce Wayne of
the young Bruce
Gotham,
Wayne
right?
who went from age 6 to like age 20 in just a matter of years.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And also on the 19th, Millie Bobby Brown.
Of Stranger Things.
11.
She's 11?
Yes.
11?
She is 11.
Oh, that's so funny.
She's not age 11.
Oh, yeah. She's 11, the character.
Yes, there we are. Also on the 19th, Nicholas
Yes.
Bleh. Nicholas Copernicus.
You will never be able to say that name correctly ever again.
Never again. Copernicus.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. What are we talking about? He was born in 1473.
Nicholas Redenbacher.
Yeah. Also on the February 19th, very good friend of ours, Ms. Audra Hall.
Yes. Happy birthday,
Happy
Audra.
birthday, Audra. February 20th, Sidney Poitier, Robert Altman, filmmaker, wonderful filmmaker, Charles Barkley, who
just bonkers basketball player who formerly of the Phoenix Suns.
And actually, I was sitting behind him in first class one time
That's right,
on
weren't you?
Delta flight several years ago, and the film god, Mr. Ansel Adams. His birthday, February 21st, Alan Rickman.
We're so sorry you left us, Alan.
Irma Bombeck, Anthony Daniels, Andres Segovia,
masterful guitar player,
John Lewis, politician from Alabama, and he is walked across the Edmund J. Pettus Bridge with Martin Luther King Jr. And also friends Lisa Pratt and Tom Lynn on the 21st. February 22nd, James Hogg.
I can never get enough of that man. I love everything he does.
He is absolutely wonderful. And Leah Salonga and George Washington. February 23rd, Erica Irvin.
You just heard her.
How about that? Also known as Amazon Eve. And Georg Friedrich Handel. February 24th, Edward James Olmos and Steve Jobs. February 25th, George Harrison.
My favorite Beatle.
Yep. Sean Astin, Jim Backus, who is
Mr. Magoo,
and Thurston Howell
III from Gilligan's Island.
Yes, and famed opera singer Enrico Caruso. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
So how would you describe a podcast like The Shared Desk?
It's a podcast that took its sweet time to do a promo.
Well, I think that goes without saying.
I mean, you could say The Shared Desk is a podcast about collaboration, because that's what we do.
Wait. There's a lot more to The Shared Desk. You got our Loot Crate Looky-Loo.
Oh, what's in the box?
And then what we're doing when we're not writing, usually it's pretty nerdy.
Nerd!
And then there are the drop-ins.
Has the whole world gone crazy?
Yes, there are drop-ins.
And we love having guests on the show. It's The Shared Desk after all.
And if it's Katie or Lauren, you get some lovely singing as well.
So find The Shared Desk on iTunes, Stitcher, or at theshareddesk.com. The Shared Desk. 2 writers.
1 podcast. Different points of view.
Go give a listen to our friends T and Philippa over at The Shared Desk. And now it is time for some of this.
Some of this, some of that, and lots of chit-chat. Yeah, because there was a lot of chit-chat in this feedback.
A lot of chitty-chat.
A lot of chitty-chat. Starting with, we ran an article a couple of weeks ago about the new Venom teaser trailer. And a good friend of the show, Tommy Cannon, says this looks like it's going to be the wall bonkers, which is to be expected when we are presented with a jar of space alien symbiotic goop. Well stated.
Well stated.
Now, do you want to introduce something that Jeannie Koch is doing for us?
Yeah, we have a new contributor. Actually, not new.
Not new to the show.
No, not new to the show, but new to us as a contributor. She, Ms. Jeannie Koch is writing for us, and she's on occasion, whenever she gets feels like it. And the thing that she's doing for us right now, it's a new thing that's going to be on Wednesdays, and it's our old classics newly reviewed, and that's old classics with a question mark, ... newly reviewed. So
that could be controversial.
Yes. So she has been watching bunch of stuff on Turner Classic Movies, and is felt inspired to write some reviews.
And she wrote one. This is for the movie DOA from 1949.
Yes.
And started off, Sean Sumrall left a comment on our website. Says, "Oh, thank goodness someone else noticed the car-sized sinkholes in this plot. I have never understood what made this movie such a quote-unquote classic." Jeannie responded with, "I know, right?" Laugh out loud. We literally made fun of the movie half the time because it was just not good. We now have private jokes about it, like, "I'm going to give the hubs space by sitting on top of him." And then Hamish chimed in, good friend of the show, Hamish Downey, says, "I've never watched the film, so it probably is a steaming pile of manure that Jeannie says it is. However, in 1949, men were scarce due to World War II, so literally any man was a catch, making the unfaithful wife just plain greedy. Also, because of the recent war, it's not a stretch that he'd be able to fire a gun, etc." To which Jeannie finally responded with, "No argument, and if the gun had been my only issue, I wouldn't have pointed it out. But the war was never mentioned, so we don't know that anyone was around in it or not. Sure, it was undoubtedly assumed we'd know, but in a movie that told what was going on as much as this one did, the omission is, like the rest of the movie, not working for me." Thank you, Jeannie, Sean, and Hamish. That was tons of fun. And speaking of Hamish, he had a press release that we ran on our website for a film that he wrapped in 4 days.
A feature-length
film, and it's called Kotokushi. You can go to our website to find it, and we'll have a link for that in our show notes. And Hamish writes, "TG Geeks have been huge supporters of Paul and I, so I've given them an exclusive first look at Kotokushi, my debut feature film, which stars Kyoko Kudo and Tomoko Hayakawa. And it features some astonishingly beautiful work from Paul Leeming as cinematographer. It also features some great new talent from Osaka. I hope that you support TG Geeks by checking out this page, and I hope that you also come along with me on this exciting and scary journey with my love, Hamish." And that is our feedback for this week.
Thank you, Hamish. That's wonderful. We were glad to touch base with you anytime, and hopefully we're going to have an interview with him soon as he calms down a little bit. And
he's got to recharge.
Post-production, edit mode, and all that kind of neat stuff. So
I'm sure he's all frazzled after 4 days of principal photography.
Yeah, so if you want to comment on anything that we do, whether it's on this podcast or it's on any articles or anything that we post, feel free to. We encourage that. We want you to do that. We want to know.
Yeah,
what
we know
you
a lot
think.
of people read our content because we see lots of likes and loves and things like that. But we love to actually hear and read what you think in terms of what we share.
And you can do that on our Facebook page for all of our articles and all of our webcast episodes. Post there on Facebook. We have our website at tggeeks.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can comment on Twitter or Instagram or on iTunes. You can everywhere. So feel free, and you can even call us on our listener line and leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on air. That's 469 TG Geeks. That's 469-844-3357.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
And this week, we have a rather special guest who was joining us. We met this young man at a podcast summit a couple of weeks ago, and his name is
Michael Ferris.
Michael Ferris.
And he's a Padawan podcaster.
Yes, he's starting to learn the ropes of the how do you call it? The Jedi world of podcasting.
Yeah, he thinks he might want to be a podcaster. So
after this episode, he's like, no, I never want to do this.
Make a decision after this.
I'm running away. I'm screaming like you guys are all burning on fire. Anyway, Michael, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I know I'm not at the big table. I'm at the little kids' card table, but thank you for allowing me in the room.
Sure, absolutely.
You expressed great excitement when you were at the summit. So sure, we're happy to have you on the show.
Yeah, and we have a kind of a special thing to talk about. You had made a suggestion that we talk about
Some movie that just came out the other day.
Yeah, a movie that just was released the other day.
Well, Dark Kitty. Let's see.
Cats on Fire. What?
Cats on Fire.
Black Panther. There we are.
Oh, I was going to say Noirish Cats, but I guess Black Panther's it.
Black Panther. So we're here to talk about Black Panther, and this is a spoiler-free talk, so no spoilers for anybody.
No spoilers.
So just anybody that's listening, just know that we're not going to give any plot points or things away. We're here to talk about how we like the film or didn't like the film or whatever, and give us some feedback on the film itself.
Right.
So do you want to start, Michael, or do you want us to start, or what's your preference?
I'd be happy to.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'd love to start if that's okay.
Sure.
Knock yourself out.
So I don't know about you guys, but I always kind of go into a movie, and I read reviews a little bit before because, just curiosity of what other people think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went into the movie, with an open mind, but this could potentially be a really, really good movie. And you read stuff all over the board, but going into the movie, I anticipated it to be very, very good, and I was not disappointed with the movie at all. I thought there's always some things that you can kind of nitpick as you pick it apart from the an analytical standpoint, but then I got to put it in perspective. It is a Marvel movie. It's a comic book.
Interesting you should say that. Interesting you should say that. I mean, there were some people sitting behind us who were commenting, how could this happen here, and this happen here, and this happen here? And I felt like turning around saying, doing
it's
my best.
A comic book.
Yeah, I felt like doing my best William Shatner and say, get a life.
Yeah, I mean, they were two young kids. One was probably maybe 19 and the other one 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
So they were back there and saying, how could they do this? And why are they 300 years ahead of everybody else?
And I'm like, children?
Oh my gosh.
It's called suspension of disbelief. But please, Michael, continue. What were some of the other thoughts you had?
It's funny about young kids. You think their imaginations would be more like they wouldn't be analytical. Like I'm almost 40, and I'm always very analytical in movies. But I've learned as I've gotten older a little bit. It's a comic book movie, so it's not a bio.
Right.
Right.
But I think when you look at in the Marvel world, and I'm a big I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little neurotic. I like to rank things. I like to see where things kind of stack up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. I definitely thought I don't know if it was a groundbreaking superhero movie. I don't know if it was definitely wasn't like the best superhero movie I'd ever seen. I put it in the top 3 to 5 Marvel movies, breaking them down. What did you guys think?
Well, I'm going to actually this was a really tough call for me because it's up to now, my favorite Marvel films have been the Captain America movies because of the whole patriotic kind of vibe that it gives. And I love the Thor because I just love that sense of majesty. But this one vaulted right to the top. And for anybody who wants to know, yes, on our website we have not one but 2 reviews for this film,
and hopefully another one coming soon.
Yeah, but in my review, the reason I like this movie so much is I thought it did something that none of the other films have done really up to this point, and that's I think it's the African culture. I mean, this is the first superhero that we have who's forget Thor because he's from another planet. But if you look at all the other Marvel superheroes, I mean, they're all pretty much American-based. And now we have the first one who is not. And what they were able to do in terms of African culture, I thought, was really setting a whole new tone and creating a new era celebration of that culture as it exists. I mean, granted, there's no such thing as Wakanda, but I like how they were able to extrapolate different aspects of true African culture and bring this sense of Wakanda to life using that, so that it had some sense of authenticity. So in that respect, I thought it did kind of break new grounds, and it was I thought it was actually more cultural and maybe socially topical than any other Marvel film that we've had up to this point. Keith?
Well, I liked it, and I liked the tone of the film. I liked the message of the film.
Oh, the message is fabulous.
You know, the end message, if you will. So without giving that away, but I'm going to stay away from that. But the whole tone of the film and the way that it was presented, and then the ending of the film with its message of unity.
Right. I mean,
and
I Michael, I understand why you say you don't feel it's necessarily groundbreaking, but I would say that it bordered into territory that we've not seen past Marvel movies quite do. But then I think that's Marvel's strength, is that they continually reinvent themselves from film to film.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I definitely, that's an interesting point you say that. And I look at, I'm always comparing, you know, you compare the Marvel world to the DC world and Warner Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up an interesting point that didn't even dawn on me with Marvel because of the background and the theme of this movie. It definitely strayed away from because it seemed like the Marvel movies up until this point were following a template, right? Like it was just, some of the Marvel movies, you don't even know who the villains are half the time because it's just focusing on the superhero, you know, the back and forth, and there's no cultural background to it, so to speak. This was the first time this has been done before.
Right.
Yeah, this was it was kind of a biopic, if you will, of T'Challa. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take, the way they did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I mean, what are some of the other takeaways that you had for this film, Michael?
I thought visually the movie was amazing. You know, not going too far into detail, but you know, the look of the country, you know, the colors. I thought the music was outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
The songs, Kendrick Lamar, I think, did majority of the songs. I thought that was incredible. You had some of the, and I don't remember the artists or the chanting that was in the movie. I thought that was amazing. Again, it's not your typical Marvel movie, not the standard, you know, smash 'em up, you know, Nickelback or whatever kind of music they play in some of those movies.
Right.
Yeah, screaming like Thor. You know, you kind of, yeah. I get what you're saying, and I 100% agree. But I'm going to ask you this because interesting as I was watching the movie, I had a word that just kept resonating in my head, a descriptive word, a simple little descriptive word that became my label for this movie. Are there any just simple little labels that you could, you know, like one word labels or two word labels that you could just slap onto this movie and say, this movie is blank?
Oh, well, that's good. If I was going to put one word to describe the movie, you know, I would say it was breathtaking.
That's good.
And I say breathtaking because of the visuals.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
It makes you want to go there.
Yes, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes, it made me want to. You know. Okay. All right. Disney, Animal Kingdom. You need to make Wakanda Land.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yes.
I mean, hey.
Yes.
Okay. I understand why everybody's really hip on whatever that movie was that I can't remember anymore.
Avatar.
Avatar. Yeah. Okay. You know, scrap Avatar. We need Wakanda Land. I'd go to that because you're right. I would go there in a heartbeat.
If nothing else,
did you feel a little Avatar when you're watching it?
You know, that is a really good point. I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, because there are a lot of people who this was a big phenomenon after Avatar came out, that people were just really depressed when the movie was over because they love this whole utopia society that was presented in Avatar, and then they had to face the real world. And here we are looking at Wakanda and thinking, you know, God, wouldn't it be just fantastic to be there? And, no, I got to go back to my depressing life. I don't know if I would put it to that degree, but it made me did say I wish such a place did. I wish that such a place did exist.
Yeah, I was. I was thinking Avatar-ish when I was watching this, but I'll tell you, I like this movie more than Avatar.
Oh, I did too.
Avatar, Avatar was visually one of the most impressive movies at that time. That battle scene at the end of Avatar I've never seen it like that.
Right.
But this story, I thought, was the way it was crafted. I thought you could tell the director, who I've seen some of his other movies, Ryan Coogler. You could tell, one, it was his movie, and two, you were taking his movie and putting it in the Marvel world.
Right.
And basically, it's a deeper story.
Oh, well, basically, we're talking substance over style now, because Avatar. I mean, heck, let's be honest. It was Dances with Wolves set in space, which I'm sure Avatar fans would crucify me for saying that. But no, I agree with you. I think this movie had much more depth to it. So now I'm going to venture into dangerous waters here and simply ask. And again, we're staying away from spoilers. But were there anything there? I mean, and you kind of touched on this. Was there anything there that you made me think, I wish they had done this, or you wish that maybe they had addressed this particular tone? Is there anything that you kind of walked away thinking, this is my one negative?
No, there's something I wish would have been there, but I would totally be giving away something if I said it. But there was. Yeah, I don't want to overstretch and say something, but there is something I thought there would be a little bit more kind of a lead in, and it wasn't there.
So I suspect I know where you're going with that, but we will keep that off the air for now.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back. Right. We'll recircle here in several weeks.
Yeah, maybe in a month.
And then talk about
maybe.
Yeah, because by then I would hope that most people who want to see the movie will have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please. I mean, you're our guest. Please, by all means, go ahead.
Well, we touched on this a little bit, but I like to get people's takes because, again, I'm a rank kind of guy, and I have like my all-time favorite superhero movies, even from my childhood, and then I can, you can kind of go in a sub-context or sub-thread of, Marvel movies, like, because we all have kind of our preferences, right? And so I'd be curious on both of you guys if you had to name your top 5 Marvel movies.
Oh my word!
And why did you? And what's your number one with this?
With the Marvel franchise?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm going to let Keith go first.
I'm not one of those.
You can't rank it?
I'm not one of those analytical type of people. I'm analytical on a lot of other things.
You don't want to add. You don't want to add this to your list of things to analyze.
I don't want to have another thing that I have to focus on and be obsessive about.
Okay, well, I'll take.
I would just say that I really like the film, and I would say it's probably in my top 5 of Marvel films.
Okay, well that's good. That's fair enough. I'll take a stab at it. Wow. Well, this was the first Marvel movie that has come out in a while where I literally found no fault. Nothing. I couldn't find a single thing wrong with this movie. So it, I would say that it actually ties for the number 1 spot with 2 other movies. See, and that's my problem. I mean, there are 2 other films that have held that number 1 position, and now Black Panther is tying for that. And those other 2 movies are Captain America: First Avenger and Captain America: Winter Soldier. Those 2 movies were brilliant in that they stood completely alone in terms of their tone. Captain America: First Avenger was, for the most part, it had all the feel of a classic World War II film, despite the fact that we have a superhero in it. Winter Soldier was the most perfect political thriller film I had seen in ages with a superhero in it. Now we have a movie that touches on a whole culture, which no other film has done before. I mean, a believable culture. I mean, sure, you've got the Asgards, but let's be real. I mean, that's pure fantasy. Now we have this African culture. It is Earth-based, and they addressed things on that cultural level that no film has done up to this point, and did it flawlessly.
And what part of vibranium is not fantastical?
Right. Well, I mean,
Are you now? Wait a minute. Are you trying? Stop raining on my parade. Yes, vibranium is fantastical. Of course it is. But we're talking about. I'm referring to the culture, and I'm referring to the people.
I see.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Ben has not totally lost his mind yet. But it did talk about some cultural aspects, and that both positive and negative. And when addressing the negative aspect of it, it turned it around and said, this is not a good way. This positive way, that is the way to this. This is the future. This is what we need to be doing. So, in that respect, the fact that it got to be so socially topical, I felt, helped to just push this movie right up to the #1 spot. And the emphasis that it gave, not just on the African people, but gender. Wow, I love how they were able to empower the women in this.
Oh, yeah, it was incredible.
I mean, T'Challa's sister, Zuri, heck, she's the smartest one in the room. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Oh, she was great. She was fantastic. From the knowledge standpoint, she was unbelievable. Absolutely, 100%
and in the other part, and hopefully this is not a spoiler, but she was so snarky. It was just I loved it. I loved it. She owned every scene she was in.
She's virtually precocious. I mean, for a 16-year-old, can a 16-year-old be precocious? Well, yeah. And if you look up precocious in the dictionary, you'll see her because she was amazing. I loved her. I thought she was fantastic. So let me ask you this then. Were there any characters that you felt you either didn't like or maybe you felt they were wasted?
Yeah, it's good that you asked that. I like Michael B. Jordan. I thought they'd be a little bit different with the approach to him. I thought, and I didn't hate it, the character or anything, but I don't know. I was expecting a little different from the villain, and maybe some of the dialogue. I was just expecting a little bit. Just it kind of caught me off guard. His character, and then Andy Serkis I like too. And Andy Serkis is in the movie, so a big Andy Serkis guy.
Yeah, I giggled when Andy Serkis and I put this in my review, so I'm not real. It's already out there, but there's a great scene between Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman in an interrogation room, and I thought, yeah, there's Bilbo and Gollum going at it, which I thought was great.
Yeah,
right.
They're the two. Right. They're the two Tolkien white guys.
Yeah. Oh, stop it. Ba-dum-bum.
I stole that from a Facebook meme.
Yeah, that's not yours. Let's be real.
Drum noise.
Yeah, rum bum bum. But yeah, Andy Serkis is always wonderful. Let's be real. He's always great.
Well, and that guy's in everything. I mean, that guy is. I mean, he is one of the most underrated actors.
Yeah.
Out there. I mean, he is. And I didn't even realize it was him. At the beginning, I didn't realize it was him at all, and then at the end, the credits, I'm like, I didn't even realize Andy Serkis is in the movie.
No kidding. Oh, far out. Well, again, okay.
Now, can I tell you? Can I give you my ranking?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's what I was going to ask. What is your ranking of this film?
Oh, okay. So I again, I'm a little analytical, and if I were to do, I would put it in my top 5. I'd put the original Iron Man up there. I would put the original Avengers up there. I like the Captain Americas, but I love Civil War.
Okay, I did too.
I thought with Avengers, Iron Man, that was the first Marvel movie, and Marvel at that time wasn't even owned by Disney. And I thought that was like, the whole idea of the billionaire and, with the gadgets, and I just thought that was really good. And then Avengers, the fact that they were able to take all these characters, incorporate them, make the story click, make it flow.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic. And then
I agree.
Civil War, to me, it raised it another level, because you had however many characters on both sides. You had the introduction of Black Panther, you had the introduction of Spider-Man, and they incorporated all those characters, and that major fight scene was unbelievable. It did not miss one beat, and even all the way through the end of Civil War, and the way they ended Civil War, with emphasis on Black Panther, kind of leading into the Black Panther movie. I just thought that was incredible.
Agreed. No argument.
And then I would put this up there. I put this ahead of the Captain America First Avenger. I love Captain America First Avenger because to me it reminds me of The Rocketeer, which is directed by Joe Johnston, who actually invented Boba Fett, and I was Boba Fett. I'm like the biggest fan of Boba Fett from when I was a little kid. So,
well, there it is.
So that's how far back. So I love the first Captain America because again I loved The Rocketeer when I was a kid, and just made me feel like reminded me a little bit of Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that would be my top 5. And then the Winter Soldier. I think there's a huge drop off. I mean, you had some like I thought Ant-Man was good. Iron Man 2 was horrible.
Why does everybody think that movie's terrible? I love that movie. But anyway, go ahead.
And they wasted Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke is an iconic actor, and they wasted him. You can't waste the Marlboro Man on a bad character. You gotta make full use of him. Or Harley Davidson, excuse me.
Okay. Anyway. Yes. Fans who love Iron Man 2. Population, me.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
I love that movie. Okay, fine. I'll be the only one enjoying it in the theater next time it comes around. Anyway, so well, Michael, thank you. Obviously, we can't go much further into this because to do so would turn this into a really spoilerific segment. I think we've covered all the ground that we can cover without breaking spoiler rules. So for now, we'll just simply say thank you very much. We really appreciate you being on the show. Hope this didn't deter you from wanting to explore the world of podcasting on your own. So, but do you have like any kind of initial presence for possibly wanting to, for launching your podcast world at this point?
No, not yet. I'm just, first of all, thank you for allowing me to come on. I really appreciate you guys. You guys got a great thing, and the fact that you allow, somebody to come on for the first time that you don't know that well. I thank you for allowing me to come on and talk to you guys.
Oh,
so now at this point, just exploratory, and just wanted to get a feel for things and talk about a really, really good movie. So
sure.
Well, and that's what we're here for.
Well, thank you, Michael Ferris, for being on our show this time.
Thank you, guys.
That was a really great chat with
That
Michael.
Was fun. That was a lot of fun.
We look forward to having him back.
I really think we could just do some amazing deep geeking with this guy.
Yeah.
He's
he
clearly a fan.
Part of our entourage, if you will.
Might.
You never know.
We might be calling upon him.
Might get his fingers wet and toes wet in this podcasting world and launch his own someday.
How cool would that be if we could actually birth another show?
How about that? Since we were birthed out of another...
Out of Slice of Sci-Fi,
exactly.
I think it'd be awesome if we could birth something that, his show. That'd be great.
Absolutely. And as always, we have follow-up items. We have a calendar on the website. If you have a birthday or an event or a con or a film festival, whatnot, send us a note. We'll be glad to put it on the calendar, and we'll be glad to talk about it in the follow-up items. Phoenix Film Festival, April 5th through 15th, 2018 at Harkins Scottsdale 101.
And we'll be there.
And we'll be there because we are sponsors this year.
Yay!
Over 250 films
Finally.
last year and 25,000 attendees
and we've
over
been
11
talking about
days.
We've been talking about going to this thing for ages. We're finally going to be going. I
go.
love good film festivals, and this is one of the biggest in the nation.
Yep,
if not the world.
Yeah, and Phoenix Comic Fest takes place at the Convention Center on May 24th through the 27th, 2018. Lots of guests this time. Lots of really interesting guests this time. So
yeah, very
check
interesting.
it out.
And the return of Will Wheaton, I think.
Yeah.
Very happy about that.
Yeah. Arizona Opera presents the Barbara Seville, Gioacchino Rossini's comic masterpiece.
Figaro.
Yes, you sang this time, not me.
That was me, yes.
And that's playing in Tucson, March 3rd and 4th, and in Phoenix on March 9th through the 11th. Tickets are still available at azopera.org. And this is a great first-time opera.
Yes.
If you've never experienced opera and you live in Phoenix or Tucson, Please check it out.
This opera out. It's pure fun, and it's just got some great music.
It is, yeah, exactly. Check out the 3rd edition of Podcasting for Dummies, written by T. Morris and Chuck Tomasi. Go to podcastingfordummies.com. And you can also check out their companion podcast there at podcastingfordummies.com. And as everybody knows, we are huge supporters of independent creators like Maurice, that we just talked to Erica, and you heard Maurice talk about his film Chimera.
Mm-hmm.
And we are very supportive of filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, other types of artists, you name it, and we
talk about it.
we support it.
Yeah, we support it.
Please consider supporting independent creators when you find them. Buy their stuff, read their works, comment, review, etc., etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Please support those independent creators.
Special shout out to Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter and Human Article on Twitter. They have paper leads that they publish every day to every other day, and they like to reshare our content all the time. In fact, Doctor Who Talking Who actually republished our one of our Black Panther reviews.
Yeah.
So you can check them out by going to Twitter, look for @TalkingWho. They publish the Doctor Who Fancast Guide. And the Human Arkle, also known as Brian Weber. You can find him on Twitter. He is @Arkle, and he publishes the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News. And on Tumblr, he has the incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes. Check that out anytime. Keep in mind that he likes to post just utter rubbish there because he likes to toy with my mind.
Yeah.
And also a special shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, because they continually allow us to post our episodes there, and we are greatly appreciative of that. And the URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. You will have to request to join, but the high moderator, Jeremiah Reeves, is a really awesome guy, terribly nice, and his only rule is just play nice there, and you are welcome. So thank you, Jeremiah Reeves, and thank you, Facebook group, The Gay Geek.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeremiah. And we want to remind you to occasionally click on our Amazon ads that you can find at the bottom of this webcast episode article and show notes, as well as on the right-hand side of some widgets on our website for books and things from people that we like.
Books and things now?
Books and things and things and things and things. There you go, Chuck. And lastly, check us out on iHeartRadio, and please rate us on iTunes and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And things.
And things, yes.
Look, you got me going there now.
Up next time, I don't know.
Things are always changing around here.
Everything changes.
How many times have we said that, it's Friday afternoon, and it's like, hey, we have an interview on the weekend.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we never know.
I mean, it's the week always changes with us.
Stuff falls in our lap all the time. One thing that we probably will have next week, I'm going to throw it out, and we'll probably talk about it in the second segment, is our wrap of
Discovery. Yeah.
Star Trek Discovery. So we'll possibly talk about that. We never know what else we'll have. So check us out. All right, this should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have several links of things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. I am Keith Lane, coming to you from TG Squared Studios. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.